Hey, what's up, fam? Thank y'all for tuning in once again. As always, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, hit the notification bell so every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. Well, this story is coming out of, I believe, Massachusetts. And there's a school who is requesting that the National Guard be brought in to help get the school students in line. So let's get into it because I'm sure there's a lot to break down here. This is from Boston25news.com and it reads, rally at Brockton High School as committee awaits city's response to call for National Guard help. Now, why in the heck would a school needs a National Guard? And of all places, Massachusetts. We hear about school problems in Chicago, New York, hell, even down here in Dallas. But Brockton, Massachusetts? What the heck are we missing? So let's get into it. It says that students return to the classroom after a week off. The Brockton School Committee awaits a proposal from the city in response to their call for National Guard help at the high school. Community members started gathering outside the school around 6 a.m. as students and teachers arrived Monday morning for the first day of classes since February break. Now, I'm gonna leave that alone. No, I'm not. 6 a.m. I wonder how many of these doggone me community members ever arrive in the world at 6 a.m. when it has to deal with these kids, these bad kids that need the National Guard to be brought in. Many people were spotted holding signs in support of students, teachers, and staff. Why in the heck? Let's see. Tony Rodriguez is one of 4 school committee members who publicly called for the National Guard's help. We have to work as a team, said Rodriguez. We're not trying to have a school to prison pipeline. The calls for increased security stem from months of violence and lack of security at the school. Multiple fights have been caught on camera and posted on social media. And see, these kids, you can tell they got no training at all, because you would think by now they would realize if you keep posting these fights, these acts of violence online, you could be prosecuted. You do know that, right? I mean, and it happens so much, but these youngsters, hell, they probably don't get prosecuted because unfortunately these kids nowadays have too many rights for the wrong thing. At a meeting Tuesday, Rodriguez said the committee will hear a joint proposal to combat the issue at Brockton High from the superintendent and the mayor. Mayor Robert Sullivan spoke against the school committee's idea for National Guard activation, citing a more collaborative solution. It will be presented to us at our meeting this coming Tuesday for the corrective action they plan on, said Rodriguez. According to Rodriguez, the National Guard will serve as substitute teachers and hall monitors at school. He added the National Guard should be in there making sure their bodies in there. Governor Maura Healey's team continues to work with Brockton officials to come to a solution, according to Rodriguez. Here's the problem. You don't have enough teachers. You got teachers, I believe, I don't know if it's in this story, but from what I read in other stories, I should have got the original, the where teachers are calling in, on a daily basis. Almost a dozen teachers every day are calling in. They just don't want to be there. They can't control the kids. They don't have the authority to control the kids. The kids aren't, as a matter of fact, let me see. Let me finish this. Then I'm going to go to the original article. To one of the original articles. The Healey-Driscoll administration is regularly engaging with Brockton Public Schools leadership through DESE to review the needs facing the district and to understand how the state can support the high school and greater Brockton community, said the spokesperson for the Executive Office of Education. We are committed to making sure our schools provide safe and supportive learning environments for all students, educators, and staff. DESE has been in communication with the superintendent of Brockton Public Schools to understand any requests for state support from the school district. Sullivan announced last week that the state is funding a safety audit for the schools as part of their ongoing support. Let's see. Here's why Riley had National Guard request. Let's see, 6 days ago. This is from NBCBoston.com. Said the National Guard request at Brockton High School draws other suggestions. Members of the school committee at Brockton, Massachusetts are asking for the National Guard to help curb violence at Brockton High School. See, the problem is the teachers have no say-so. The teachers have no authority. I said before, these kids can cuss out these teachers. They come in when they want to. They can get in the teacher's face and actually push teachers. There's a guy down here, I believe, I don't know if it's Dallas or DeSoto, video came out showing him like hemming up a kid. I think threw him on the ground. And he got suspended. But everybody, even the kids in class, said that kid put his hands on that teacher first. What the heck is a grown man supposed to do when you're being assaulted? Just ball up and cower in the corner, or run and go tell the principal, who ain't gonna do nothing to the kids, or put them in maybe in school suspension, and the kid will be back tomorrow, and the kid knows that he can get away with anything, and they'll continue to cause problems. So we have schools down here, and I know a lot of cities have that. So we have schools that are closed down. No teachers, kids ain't listening, test scores are terrible. They ain't getting no fun to shut it down. And then these kids get bused to cities like Lancaster and cities like DeSoto, and they bring that same mentality, that same behavior to these schools, and it runs amok there. So you have teachers that threaten to boycott, threaten to have a sick out because they're not getting no help, and no one is doing anything. They're being ignored. Which is why you have a lot of teachers trying to retire, finding other careers, because they're just tired of dealing with these kids, because these kids are not being trained at home. Let's just keep it a buck. If your kid, here's the thing. I always remember I say that nothing is 100% fail-proof. There's always going to be some outliers, some failures or whatever. It happens in everything in life. But if you discipline your child at home, rear and raise your child at home. What the scriptures say? Raise a child in the way that he go, and he will not soon depart. Basically, you raise them how they're supposed to. Yes, they're going to get out there in the world, and they're going to try to do things. That's what we all have done. Your parents tell you, don't hang with this crowd. Don't do this drug, don't smoke, don't drink, don't wear your clothes like this, don't wear your hair like this, don't listen to this music, don't hang out, stay away from them girls over there. They tell you all that. But then when you get out there, you know how you are. You like, shoot, mama say no, daddy say no, I'm gonna go try. Then you get out there and you mess around and get caught up in a street fight that you ain't ready for. You get caught smoking or drinking, and then the police roll up and take you home, and you know what I'm saying, and then now you're embarrassed and disappointed your parents, or you get taken down to the station. They gotta come get you. But if you got them parents like mine that say, you go to jail, don't call me because I ain't gonna come get you, then you're gonna be sitting there for the weekend. You deal with the wrong girl, and then the next thing you know, you gotta go to the doctor and get a Q-tip stuck up your pee hole, and got to get a shot and some pills because you done mess with the wrong girl. Things like this. But you know what the thing about it is, like I always tell my kids and other kids, you're going to make choices. You're going to make decisions. You're going to make some bad ones. You just need to hope and pray that you can live through them. Because there are some who haven't. There are some who didn't. There are some who suffered grave consequences for the choices they make. But sometimes, because you'll do it and it turns out bad, or you'll do it and you're like, it wasn't what I thought it was. And then you're like, you know what, my parents were right. And you'll go back to the way that you were raised. The majority of the people. So the problem is these kids ain't being raised. There's no fear. One, now you can train kids at home, but if they go to school and there are no consequences at school, then they will do bad behavior away from the house and continue to do bad behavior away from the house until the parent gets involved, and then the parents put that act right on them. And then when they get back out there in the streets, they'll be like, nah, that's okay. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is, all kids are going to try to do things to buck the system. All of them. One way or another. It could be something as big as being disruptive in class, coming to class late, walking out of class, not doing homework, sleeping in class, or throwing a paperclip across a spitball across the room and ducking and laughing and giggling. But they're going to try something. You got to understand it. You got to understand kids are going to be kids. But in the same breath, adults need to be adults. And if adults' hands are tied and can't be adults, the kids are going to run them up. It says a nonprofit formed after the school shooting in Uvalde, Texas, reached out to officials to propose another solution for the situation at Brockton High School. The Uvalde Foundation wants to help Brockton set up a citizen patrol team to monitor neighborhoods around the school. The foundation has yet to receive a response back from the district, but they said it is prepared to recruit and organize. And you do need like neighborhood watches. You know, growing up, people knew. You knew your neighbors and people knew what was going on around. I remember back when I was in the 3rd grade, I went to school 2 houses. I lived 2 houses from the school. Everybody else lived further away. So I get out of school, 3rd grade, now mind you, I get out of school, go home, everybody else walking home. Get to school one day, they was like, man, we going down. They said they go down the alley that I lived in, they see these dogs hunching, okay? You know, little managed kids. They're like, man, you know, you be missing it. So, you know, they keep going and they come back and tell me. So then one day I asked my mom, hey, can I walk with my friends, you know, down the street some, and I'll come back, you know, at the end of the alley. I said, okay. And mom was like, okay, fine. Go walking down the alley with them. We see it now. There's also a house with like a wooden fence. They had a Doberman Pinscher that would be loose. And, you know, I heard it. I never saw it loose, but, you know, when your kids, your friends like to exaggerate. I was like, oh man, the red man live in the woods. All the Doberman man live next door to the dogs will be hunching. They're gonna, you know, they're gonna go out and chase you. So, but we want to see the dogs hunching, right? So walk down there, we see the dogs, we just sitting there watching, tripping out. And then one of the friends said, oh man, they're going to the Doberman. We all took out running. Didn't see no dog, didn't hear no dog, he just took out running. So, okay, so everybody go their separate ways. I go back home. Mama sitting on the, you know, sitting, watching, you know, sitting in the living room, eating, watching TV. And she, you know, have a little conversation. And then she she said, what you see when you went down the alley? I said, huh? So you saw them dogs, down there watching them dogs. And I just said, what? It was like, how in the hell did my mama know? That means somebody on that neighborhood that I didn't even know she know done told her. Done told her what we was doing. But that's how the neighborhood was back in the day. Now, don't nobody know nobody. Don't nobody know your kids. Don't nobody know your mama. You say something to somebody's kid, they want to cuss you out. When your kid being bad, your kids want to pull out cell phones in the middle of the classroom. You try to take the phone, and mama say, you ain't paying this phone bill. Let me get my kid back their phone, stuff like that. And then you have anarchy in teachers that do not want to teach it anymore. It says a sad state of affairs in this nation when a school has to call upon a National Guard to protect its students. We have a better solution, and it starts with community who decide to take action to protect their own sons and daughters. The foundation's founder, Daniel Chapin, said in a release. Teachers are also proposing alternatives. Cliff Canavan, who was injured breaking up a fight at Brockton High School in 2022, said what needs to change is the state school discipline law. He said the law, known as Chapter 222, severely limits the school's ability to suspend students. They're not going to care if it's a National Guard uniform or if it's a teacher. They're going to continue to act the same way unless they're held accountable in an effective manner. Canavan said, bringing in military support will not make much of a difference without the power to discipline, he said, which is true. That's what's missing. Discipline at home and discipline at school. I remember getting paddlings in elementary. and I believe in junior high too. I think they stopped it by the time I got to high school, but I remember those, and yes, they were a deterrent that needs to be brought back. What are they going to do? They're not allowed to discipline the kids any differently than we are. Canavan said, if kids don't feel like they're actually being punished, it enables the behavior to continue. Brockton, exactly. I feel the same way. If kids do something and feel they can get away with it, they feel they can survive the pity punishment that they get, they're gonna keep doing it. And if you don't punish them at all, then they're gonna keep doing it. So what are you supposed to do? You can either separate yourself from them or separate yourself from them. That's true. That's my suggestion. Brockton Mayor Robert Sullivan said he also supports changing the regulations that hamper the efforts of teachers. In a statement, he said he does not think military measures are appropriate, and they're not. Like the guy said, if you're not disciplining these kids, they're not gonna change. They say, why would they? And then what's gonna happen is they're gonna be there 4 years. The majority of them are not gonna graduate. After a while, you gotta put them out. They're gonna drop out. They're gonna be like menace to society. End up robbing, stealing, doing drugs, selling drugs, whatever the case. End up in some kind of rehab, in prison, or in the grave. And the cycle will just continue until these adults, these liberal adults, get to their senses and say, we got to start disciplining these kids. And these parents need to get to their senses and say, we got to discipline these kids. We got to raise these kids correctly. But maybe they don't know how to raise a kid because they weren't raised correctly. So maybe that could be the issue. And if it is, then that's where the community comes in. This is where you bring in, people that can help show you. There's nothing wrong with being taught how to do something as an adult. There is nothing wrong with it. If you got it wrong and you don't understand it, and the results that you have are always negative and bad and not going your way, ain't nothing wrong with, getting some outside help for these kids. Shoot, I've done it when it came to teaching my kids softball. I could teach them up to a point. And once I realized I couldn't do it no more, couldn't take them to a different level, you go hire a coach. You take them to classes, practice like what they call individual personal practices, and you pay that money to get somebody to train them and teach them. If I can only go so far in math and I can't understand, so I can't understand it, but they still need help, send them to tutor. Tell them to go to tutor. You go to them every day. Every day it's open, you go there and you learn and you get that lesson. But that's your number one priority, is to make sure if I can't do it, I'm gonna find somebody who can do it, who can do it better than I can, who can guide you in the right direction. That's all they need. That's all these kids need. Anyway, tell me what you think about the story. Leave your comments below and then share it with the world. As always, hey, I want to thank everybody for subscribing. And also, if you want to support the channel, you can give super chat, super thanks. And also in the description box, there are also ways and links that you can click on to actually support the channel, to help the channel grow and get better over time. So anyway, with that being said, I'll leave you in peace, and I'll see you on the other side.